Hello producers, it's Ozgun here and welcome to the channel. So Anyma recently released his album The End of Genesis and I thought this would be a good time to shoot another Melodic Techno start to finish tutorial in the channel. So in this video I like to just grab one of the tracks from his album and I'm gonna put my own twist to it. I will show you how to produce Anyma style Melodic Techno tracks, and also guys, now you can download 10 free serum presets from the Synths beta pack made by O5 Sounds. I'm gonna put the link in the description so you can download the sounds for free, and if you're ready, let's jump to that video. So guys, I like to create a track very similar, very heavily inspired by In My Mind, because this is my favorite track in his album. So this is not gonna be an exact remake, but I will put my own twist to it while I just keep the same arrangement as him. So first of all, I like to extract stems from this track so I can just get the vocal, you know, and have more clean view of the arrangement of the track. And we got the stems from the track. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just label the arrangement, you know, this is the intro, and like approximately intro goes like 24 bars in this case, and we will have like a build up starting from here, and in the 33rd we have the first drop and we have the breakdown in here. So it's always helpful to label if you are especially getting references from an existing track. That will just speed up your production a lot. And here we got another build up, and in here we have the pre-drop and drop, and that's it. We got the outro after the second drop. So let's just use the vocal, and I'm gonna start from the drop, and yeah, let's work on the kick and bass as we do in usual. I think I'm gonna use this one or this one. Let's see. So maybe this one, you know, looks more close to the reference track. It kind of has the same length as the Anyma's track. So let's just put the drums like this. And I'm gonna route it to kick channel in here. So maybe in the master, I can just put a frequency limiter so it prevents me to clip. And I'm gonna just put all the envelopes to the 0. Now it's a hard clipper. And for the bass, we will just go with the rolling bass. So I'm gonna create a channel and I'm gonna add a serum. And let's find some nice rolling bass preset. Maybe even this one. So the track was, I think, G sharp. Let me just quickly put my piano roll to G sharp. It sounds nice. It sounds very nice. By the way, guys, I'm using the sounds, all of the sounds from O5 Synths producer pack. So this premium bundle has a sample pack and coming with a serum bank as well. So in total, it has more than 530 sounds. And if you get the premium bundle now, you will get 6 bonuses along with it. And one of them is a free plugin from AA Production. And as I know, the plugin deal is valid till end of July. So I think that's the best time to get the bundle if you are thinking of it. So yeah, guys, I really enjoyed this bass. Let me put it to its own channel. I will just put it a kickstart. Let's see how it sounds with the kick, and probably I can just put a span to monitor my levels. Sounds nice. Probably I can also just distort my sub a little bit. Let's check the macro. Maybe I can put it a little bit longer. Yeah, let's find the sweet spot. How about delay? So since my pattern is like always, you know, goes like that, probably no need for delay. But if I have like a like a groovy bass line, I will definitely use the delay. But yeah, let's turn off the delay for now. I I will start with no filter, but definitely we will automate this bad boy. So the kick and bass, yeah, let's keep it like this. And I'm gonna duplicate it like through the breakdown. And let's find some claps. This one is nice. So we can just swap the sample until we find the one we like. For swapping the sample, just choose the sample or just click once, and then with the middle mouse click, you can literally change the sample. So you can do that when you are listening the track, it will help a lot. Yeah, this is nice. I think this one fits nicely with the kick drum we choose. I'm gonna send this to mixer. Let's call it as clap. I always like to get rid of the low frequencies. Oh, it's already cleaned up, so we don't need to do any EQ to it. So then I'm just gonna put it a little bit reverb. You know, like half second long. Sounds nice, and I can duplicate it with Control B. In Mac, it's gonna be Command B, obviously. And now it's time to add some rolling hi-hats. Or we can call it 16 hats. Again, I will just loop one bar, and then let's go to cymbals, closed hats. Probably we could find some loop as well. You know, something like this, but I like to create my own.
Lines.
So velocity matters, guys. First one, obviously there's kick, right? Let's lower it. And then we can Alt Q. In Mac Option Q, I think, I'm just guessing. And maybe in the levels, we can choose Techno. So then it's also just change the velocity a little bit. And let me route it to mixer, call it 16 hats. And I'm gonna create a hat bus, and I'm gonna route my hi-hat to this hat bus. And in the hat bus, I'm gonna put a patcher, and I'm gonna put my magic patch. You can download this patch on my website. And this patch is nothing more than a hard clipper and a wave shaping, you know. Just gonna give a little bit drive to the sound. So that's it. And after that, I like to do another low cut. Because maybe the saturation could give it a little bit low. And let's put a little bit reverb this time, maybe. Again, half seconds is okay. And for these heads, I will just use a kickstart. So I think in the original track, there's no more hi-hats, you know. This track is driven by this simple rhythm, but I like to put some open hats or maybe another closed hat. Maybe this one. Let's create some groove to the track. This one maybe... Yeah, we can make it more tight, the 16 one. And let's send this to mixer as well. And I like to route it to same channel as my head group. Maybe a layer. I like this one. So probably I'm going to introduce this hi-hat layer a little bit later in the drop. And let's see how it works with the vocals.
It's taking over in my mind. 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 In my mind.
So I think I need to clean the vocals a little bit because I hear some synths.
Mind. In my mind.
Okay, I cleaned this till the breakdown and I'm gonna route the vocal to the mixer. So I can just EQ it a little bit. And I can put my vocal chain to it for, quick delay reverb and a little bit processing.
In my mind. In my mind. It's taking over in my mind. In my mind. Mind. In my mind. In my mind. In my mind. In my mind.
So now it's time to write the synths and yeah, let's add a serum too. And let's get some leads. So now I'm searching for some Anyma style synth. Maybe. This one also nice. So let's stick with this one. We can change it if we don't like it. Something like 2 bars, and we will pitch it, of course.
In my mind.
Sidechain first, some distortion, some EQ. Maybe we can get something more distorted. What was the other one that I like? Yeah, this one. So let me just automate the pitch bands. Nice. And let's give it some delay reverb. And what about this vibrato? Maybe we can also automate that. So it starts with no vibrato, but in time it can go with more vibrato. Like this. Nice. Let's take a listen with the vocals.
It's taking over in my mind. In my mind. In my mind.
Sounds nice. But I think something missing, some high mids. And what if we give this sound a little bit flanger? And we can just automate this flanger also, like this. So as I see in the synths, now after two vocals, question, answer, we need another question, which means another synth. And this time I will just use another synth. So let's create synth 2, new pattern, synth 1, and let's clone this one to the next channel. Let me give it sidechain and some EQ. It's a nice starting point. And now, we need to find another sound for this one. I think I can activate mono legato and always. Then I can do some glide with this. Let me just put it like this. Something like this. Let's vibe with the track and decide which one could fit.
In my mind.
Nice. I'm gonna use the same delay reverb. So I'm gonna deactivate it from Serum. This is what I always do. It gives me more control if I use my own. We definitely need some overdrive. And maybe something like this.
In my mind. 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 In my mind.
Okay, let's keep it like this. It sounds very nice. Overdrive maybe before delay reverb. Let's see if it's gonna be cleaner. No, I don't want to make it clean. I want it to be so much distorted. And I like to put some OTT, so I can just glue this.
In my mind. In my mind. In my mind.
And now we will use the same synth, but we definitely need some variation this time. So let's do it. I'm experimenting with the glide. Yeah, this is nice. So something like this. And maybe for the automations, we can copy this 2x. It could give some different vibe. And I think we can also put a fruity balance. So we can just lower the volume of this sound in time. Just like that. Let's automate this. And how about copying the same pattern once more? Then we are just going to the breakdown. Oh, I got another idea. What if we put a gator to the second turn of this synth? So I can just automate this parameter. Yeah, now it's gonna be so much interesting. Like this. Or maybe like this. So I think it will be better if I just do the automation with this mix knob. Because otherwise, I think we are losing some volume. Probably this plugin not compensated for this type of automation, but this should work. Not bad. Yeah, maybe we can use an octave. We will decide this. So maybe it's a good time to just jump to the breakdown of the track. So let's put another pattern to here. This time I'm gonna again clone the serum. So we can just start with the break bass and let's figure out what type of bass progression are we gonna use. So let me just go to the basses. This time I'm not gonna use a Reese, but it's just gonna have a dot bass. Something like this, but less clicky, I think. Very nice sound. Let's go with this one. So yeah, the bass line is a little bit tricky. Let's see. And yeah, kind of like... And I'm gonna clone this one and find some lead sound for the top melody. let's use this sound. So all I'm gonna do is just follow the same notes with the bass, so I can just copy this. But we will just write a melody, of course. Also, let me just route it to the next channel so I can get rid of its low frequencies. And let's make it a little bit plucky. And let's listen with the vocals.
In my life. 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 In my life.
And like this, so maybe this time we can jump like this.
In my life, 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 in my life. In my life, 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 we're taking over in my life, in my life, in my life, in my.
I don't like this part.
In my. In my. In my, in my, in my, in my life, 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 in my life. In my life, in my life. In my life, 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 we're taking over. In my life, we're taking over in my life.
Sounds good.
In my life, 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 we're taking over in my life, 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 in my life.
Let's automate the filter.
In my life, 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 in my
I'm gonna put some pads behind the sounds. Let me clone the serum again. Let's jump to the pads. And we can just copy the bass notes. And we can create the pads like this. And I'm gonna clone the pads. So with the same MIDI, I will just layer this one with another one. So let's get the pack. Let's put some crashes in the beginning of the breakdown, and then some sweep.
In my life, in my life, in my life, in my life.
Or maybe this.
In my life, in my life, in my.
And I'm gonna put this type of transition sounds. And of course some uplifters like this. In the bonus pack, we got ambiances. Let's also use those. So we are in G sharp. This one is nice. It's gonna fill up very nicely. So just in the middle of the breakdown, I think I can put some top loop, you know, just to keep the groove going. Maybe this one. Or maybe with a small clap. Something like this. Just for the groove. So in here, I think we got some sub drops in the FX section. We can use one of those. Maybe this one. And let's cut the highs out of it. And just in here, I will use some long fill. Maybe this one. Yeah, we can layer it with this one, but let's put it in the next beat. Also, let's use this riser from the pack and let's put it to 300 up so it fits the key of our track.
In my mind, 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 is taking over in my mind.
And that's where the drop hits. So this time for the second drop, the difference is gonna be, we will start with like the classic Anyma steps, you know, let's do that. I'm gonna mute this one. So let me add steps. And I think in the pack, we got pretty nice steps. So let's clone this one and let's find some steps. I think we can use this one. But let's send this to a different channel. So this one is pretty much too reverb in my opinion. Let's call it steps. And okay, let's process it. For start, I will use distortion as well. Do we have any macros? Nice. Yes, this filter needs to be automated. Let's just do it quickly. And yeah, I like to keep organized all the time. And let's create automation clip for this filter. And we will just do it like this. And I'm gonna just grab the same delay reverb, but this time I will go less. Because I like to keep these steps more dry, you know, more, not that much wet. Also, I'm gonna use a Fresh Air plugin. You see how it makes it super crisp. I think it's nice, but if you realize they are kind of clashing, right? So we will solve it with a stock plugin. So currently the synth is playing this. So we will put a patcher to this channel, and we will put the multi-band sidechain preset. So this is just like a track spacer. We will route the steps as a sidechain input in here, and in the mapping, we will just right-click audio, and we will activate the steps in here. Okay, and we will just connect this to here. Now, whenever the steps are gonna play, it's gonna just duck only the clashing frequencies from the lead one, and we will have much more cleaner mix. Let's test it out. You see, whenever you push the sidechain knob, the long synth is gonna get ducked in terms of volume, but only the clashing frequencies. So that's just perfect.
It's taking over in my mind. It's taking over in my mind. 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 It's taking over in my mind. 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 It's taking over in my mind. 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 Show me the way. In my mind. In my mind. In my mind. In my mind. Show me the way. In my mind. In my mind.
So maybe in the second part, we can just use one long synth and one step.
Way. In my mind. In my mind. In my mind. In my mind. Show me the way. In my mind.
Yeah, I think it works perfectly. So we are lacking some downlifters in the drop. Like this generic white noise ones. Let's put them to
It's taking over in my mind. 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 It's taking over in my mind. In my mind. In my mind. In my mind. In my mind.
So for the pre-drop, by the way, we are needing some one shots like this. But obviously, it's kind of too short, so I'm just gonna route it to mixer. I'm gonna call it reverb clap, gets the low. And then I will just smash it tons of reverb. So we will just use it for the pre-drop clap.
It's taking over in my mind. In my mind. In my mind. In my mind. In my mind.
So that's kind of done, but I just remember I wanted to automate the filter of the bass because so that sounds pretty sick if we automate this one. Yeah, let's create automation clip for that sound.
In my mind. 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 Show me the way. In my mind. In my mind. It's taking over in my mind. Show me the way. It's taking over in my mind. Show me the way. It's taking over in my mind. In my mind. In my mind. In my mind.
Sounds nice. I think we need to tease this breakdown ARP somewhere in the drop. I will just merge, split this by channel like this. And then maybe I can just get this part, only the first part. And of course, we need some filter automation in here. Maybe like... even less. So maybe less melody, more like a just one shot. Yeah, just like that. Also, I think I can put a pancake VST for this one, so I can just pan it left to right, you know, like this. Yeah, guys, something like this. And let's automate the kickstart for this sound so it doesn't sidechain in the break section. So, okay, guys, now I like to play the final result and all the sounds, samples, and presets I'm using from the O5 Synapse producer pack. So, as I said, there's a free version of the pack for serum presets. You can download this for free now. And besides, there's a premium version of the pack as well, which I used for creating this track. And now I like to play the final result. I hope you can learn something from this tutorial and you can apply this to your own productions as well. So, today that's it, guys. See you on the next video. Bye-bye.
In my mind, show me the way. In my mind, it's taking over. In my mind, 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 show me the way. In my mind, it's taking over. In my mind, show me the way. In my mind, it's taking over. In my mind, show me the way. It's taking over in my mind, 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 in my mind. It's taking over in my mind, 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 in my mind. In my mind, it's taking over. In my mind, 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 it's taking over. In my mind.